My video for July the 24th, 2018 is entitled, "Is the Deep State Capable of Repentance?" By deep state, I mean those who drive the monetary system of the world through which humanity is enslaved. It is those who run the corporations, corpses, demoting humanity and stealing human rights and individual wealth from all of us. Yes, I see them as demonic subhumans. Nevertheless, I had a strange dream last night in which I witnessed what seemed like a reconciliation. It was sort of like two leaders on different sides came together and made peace. They did not look like Trump and Putin, but it was like them in a way. That was my take on the dream. That said, one individual who heard my talk last night made it clear at the end that he is convinced Putin is the richest man in the world and an evil dictator who is still killing many Russians. I challenged him initially, but there was no discussion on the matter. I let it go. Then, earlier today, one of my YouTube subscribers said that if I continue to say good things about Putin, he is going to mess with my computer. I immediately blocked him on my channel. Yes, there are many who are convinced Russia is an enemy and Putin a demon. Trump is also seen that way to those favoring the deep state agenda. There's no one that would like to see a reconciliation between what appears to be opposing forces of light and dark, good and evil. I'd like to see that healed and peace between the two. So when I get a dream and it appears to be two individuals that didn't look like Putin or Trump, I mean, I know what they look like. Everybody that watches the news knows what they look like. I mean, they're public figures. These were not public figures. So it was something, I take it to be something of a spiritual nature, that there was a reconciliation at a level higher than humanity. I don't know if that's true or not. It's my interpretation. But as I said, it came at a significant time when I had talked about Trump and Putin in my talk last night. And as I indicated in the blurb, at least one person spoke up right at the end of the discussion part of the talk and made it clear that he thinks Putin is the richest man in the world. And I said, I did ask, you mean even richer than the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers? He said, yeah, he's by far the richest man in the world. And he also insisted that Putin is still killing people. And I think I also made the comment that he has a 70% approval rate in Russia. Well, of course, he doesn't believe that either. And people that believe the mainstream media aren't going to believe any alternative explanation about anything, because they've bought into a particular story, and anything that contradicts that story is going to be labeled fake news or false information or whatever. It's going to be put a negative spin on it that can't be the reality. And I was going to actually record a video earlier today, but I decided no, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to go for my walk in the park and hug my tree. And I ended up being at the park for a much longer time than usual because it was a very bad rainstorm last night, and the part of the park, the boardwalk part of the park, was covered with big long pine needles and a lot of other debris, even some fallen branches from trees. And I don't mean big branches, I mean little branches and stuff like that. And so what usually takes me maybe 35 or 40 minutes to go around, and I clean a little bit when I'm going around. This time it was an hour and 15 minutes to make 2 laps around a 3/4 of a mile boardwalk. So I did my duty, but it took me a lot longer because it was such a mess because of the rain. And we need the rain here in Florida, and I'm sure there are many other places in the world that need rain as well. And I just wish that somehow our weather could be better modulated and not controlled for dark purposes, but controlled for the good of humanity. I mean, that would be a wonderful thing, that it would rain in at the appropriate times, preferably during the night. But in any case, that the vegetation gets watered and everything has an opportunity to thrive with all of the elements working harmoniously in conjunction with each other. What a concept. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a world where everything flows peaceably and in synchronicity with each other, and nothing is out of sync? Everything is balanced and good for all life. I mean, and yes, folks, I mean all life, animal life, plant life. As I said, I hug trees. I have one particular tree that I hug every day. I hug that tree usually at least twice. There have been some occasions that I've gone at a later time, and my friend that I go with at the later time isn't into hugging people, let alone trees. So I face these challenges in my own world, in my own life, of trying to see the bright side, to look at the positive things. People tell me all the time, Ron, you focus too much on the negative. Well, the negative has to be addressed. And we want repentance. Those of us that are on a spiritual path want to see harmony and want to see leadership that helps humanity thrive instead of just merely able to survive or barely able to survive in many cases. I'd like to be able to help people in third world countries, but we're not going to do it if we keep attacking people that are trying to do the right thing. Now, are Trump and Putin actually trying to do something that's going to uplift humanity? It's a wild card to me, folks. I believe in Russia because of the prophecies of Edgar Cayce. I believe in Russia because of reading the Anastasia by Vladimir Megra, that Anastasia. I believe that Russia has a destiny to benefit the entire world. And that can't happen as long as the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, which to me are the wealthiest people on the planet, that we know their names. There might be wealthier people that we don't know their names, but I find it highly unlikely that any politician whose name we know in any country is the wealthiest person in the world, because the wealthiest people pull the strings of the politicians. They are not the politicians, in fact. So there's a lot of things that I'd like to be able to get people to see clearly. But most of all, as I keep on saying, we have to stop butting our heads with each other. It doesn't do any good to hold on to a position that you think you are right, especially when your position is supported in the mainstream media. Folks, the mainstream media lies all the time and has been doing that for a very long time. They've infiltrated our religions. They've infiltrated all the aspects of human society for their own ends, which are generally not benevolent, but very malevolent. They're benevolent from their perspective only for them, not for anyone who might hold a different opinion or have a different viewpoint on any substantial matter. So I continue to make my videos every day, and sometimes I struggle to come up with topics that are uplifting. And I hope that you can take this as food for thought and weigh what I'm saying. Thank you for listening, and namaste.